And there's a lot of fear of the unknown and fear of missing out, fear of not being enough, fear of not doing enough, and all of those things that kind of like get us stuck and get us kind of blocked on our way to where we want to go. And this is a normal thing. It's a part of the process. It's a part of life. And I don't think that we should, always say that uncertainty is not a good thing, that, you always should have clarity about your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, your plan. Like always have a plan A and a plan B. And sometimes the best thing you can do actually is to not have a plan and just live life. There's this, journey between where you are now and where you want to be, and you feel like you need to feel all that void in between for you to feel something different and for you to be someone different, when actually there's nothing to really fill that void, because it's a lot of uncertainty, it's a lot of you going through the process. And when you are only looking at the destination all the time, you're always going to feel like something is missing and something is just not right. And so when there comes a time where we do have uncertain times, we feel like there's something wrong with us, like it should go smoother or it should go faster or it should always be there. And so those moments where we don't feel like the dots are connecting and things are really uncertain, then this is when we start to freak out and be like there's something wrong, when uncertainty is just a part of life. It's just a part of the process. It doesn't matter how good you are at goal setting, at clarity setting, it's a part of the process. It's how you respond to uncertainty that will make uncertainty feel like something good or something bad or something that doesn't feel like it should be like. And sometimes uncertainty just feels like shit, and that's fine too. But if you react out of fear and out of doubt, this is where the path becomes more difficult and more tricky and more challenging, because it just feels like you need to add more weight to this uncertain path. And so when it comes to trusting and believing in the fact that you get to be the person that even when uncertainty comes, you still get to have what you want, you still get to be the person you want to be, you still get to just live life and you don't need to pause life. This is something that I've seen a lot in my sessions too, is that when we are in an uncertain time, we feel like we need to pause, and we feel like we need to, not really pause, like we need to stop, because there's a difference between I'm pausing things so that I can kind of like not react, not overreact, but actually like understand what's happening and take action based on that. And there's a difference between I need to stop because I feel like there's something that is blocking me from going where I want to go because it's just like uncertain. Let's take an example. If you are making an audition for a movie, let's say, you will have a moment between you doing the audition, sending it, and then you actually getting the response and you getting the role. And so this moment between you getting the response and getting the role and doing your own stuff is the moment where you're going to freak out and you're going to be like, I need my phone on 24/7, I need to look at my phone all the time, I need to look at my emails and refresh my emails. And so you're just living for that moment. And so you kind of get so overwhelmed by all those feelings of this needs to happen, this needs to happen. And if it happens, then you're like, oh my God, I knew it, this is amazing. And if it doesn't happen, then you're like, okay, something is wrong with me and this is my fault and all of that, when just the projects wasn't for you. And so it's the difference between you living life, between you sending that audition and you getting the role. It's how are you going to react in between? Are you going to like harass the project manager and be like, take me, choose me, please, please, please? Or are you going to live your life and be like, now I've made my parts and now it's just about them responding to my part. Like my part is done. I don't have anything else to do because this is on their hand now and I don't have any power in their decision right now. So what do I do in between? This is like the same thing with like strategies that you put in place when you have, as an example, a business or you are a content creator or whatever. It's the uncertainty of, is my strategy is going to work or not? Or is it going to get me the results exactly the way that I see it or not? And so a lot of the time we make all those projections and all of those those stories that are about how can I make this something that feels quicker and easier and all that stuff. And so it's a lot of I'm not certain about this, because sometimes you have a roadmap that, you know, worked for you for so long and now it doesn't work as well and you don't understand why, and so it's uncertain and all that stuff. Trust in your path, trust in your projects, trust in your life and in your career doesn't come from you knowing every single time what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and you knowing from A to Z how things are going to go. It doesn't come from immediate certainty from everything in your life, but it comes from the commitment in believing in yourself, in believing in your project, in your career, in your vision. It's having this vision that is so clear that you are able to rely on that and rely on the fact that this is what makes sense with my vision, and I'm going to make sure that every single thing that I do and who I'm being connects to that vision. And sometimes that vision is going to get blurry. This is why sometimes this is the nuance of personal improvement and getting better and getting more, like getting more performance and being, you know, this person that gets what they want or that goes for what they want or whatever. It's that we talk all the time about the vision, and the vision is allowed to change. The vision is allowed to be blurry. The difference is that you have this trust that your vision is connected to your values, to who you are, to who you want to be and how you want your life to feel like, instead of this is how it should be and my vision needs to be exactly like that, because it's going to get blurry. Sometimes you just realize that you got a little bit too far from the initial vision and you prefer the initial vision. And sometimes it's just something that is going to change depending on what age you are, depending on what mood you are, depending on what season of life you are. And so if you don't allow yourself to be in this moment of clearly I'm not aligned anymore, and there's this uncertainty of, okay, now what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be? What do I want to do? And all that stuff. And so it gets blurry and it gets frustrating and it gets really uncertain. And so this is the moment where you have to trust that everything is going to uncover itself, not just because it's magical or whatever, but it's because you have this trust within yourself that you're going to figure it out no matter what, no matter if it's in 1 month, in 2 weeks, in 6 months. Sometimes it takes the time that it needs to take, living through the chaos while still knowing that you're going to get out of this chaos at some point. It's experimenting what does it feel like to feel certain within you. You can have this uncertainty in your life, but be certain about who you are and what you want, and be certain about the fact that you're going to get this done and you're going to get this to where it's supposed to be and where it's supposed to get. So the trust doesn't come from immediate results. It comes from your commitment to yourself, your commitment to your craft, your commitment to your vision, to who you are wanting to be. Because many people think that leadership or being this version of you or whatever, or being successful comes from you having all the answers to everything and to everyone, about being confident all the time, never be uncertain, never be in this moment where things feel like chaotic, when it's actually being someone who goes through the uncertain time with this trust in their vision, in their mission, and in what they are capable of. And you have to be okay with not knowing, with the fact that there's no immediate results or validation that what you are doing and who you are being is in fact the right way. And you either get to be, excited about this journey, or you get to feel depressed about you not getting this immediate validation, because this is just what we are used to. But at the end, if we want excellence, if we want something different, we have to feel differently, and we have to get into a mental space of thinking differently and feeling differently about those kind of things. And so the question is, are you willing to stay the course even when it's uncertain, even when it's uncomfortable, it doesn't feel like it's working or whatever, or even when it just feels blurry and chaotic? And this is also fine. Confidence doesn't come from an immediate answer to your questions, but from your commitment to yourself and to your vision. Because at the end, there's no shortcut, there's no magical solution, there's no one that is really going to save you. Of course, you can get supported. Of course, you have options, you can get guidance and all that stuff. But at the end, living your own life is something that no one can tell you to do. And no one can, allow you to be who you are other than yourself. I cannot say this is who you are and this is who you're supposed to be and this is how you're supposed to live life, when life is supposed to be different different for everyone, and there's a good reason for that, because it's supposed to be your life, not the life that someone is projecting on you, or someone is saying this is how success is supposed to look like, or performance is supposed to look like, or whatever. It's supposed to be your vision to you and to who you are and to who you want to be. Because the thing is that when we get our vision from someone else, or that someone is trying to put their vision on ourselves, is that when we are in uncertain times and when we are in a moment where things kind of get foggy and whatever, this is when we don't know what to do. Because again, there's no roadmap for every uncertain times, because life is different for everyone. The way we respond to life and to fogginess is different for everyone. But if everything you do is based on other people's models of life and other people's projection of what you should and shouldn't do or whatever, then this is the moment where you just don't know what to do, because it's not tied to you and your life and your vision and your mission and your projects and whatever it is that you feel uncertain about right now. And so it just becomes this moment of what if and what if and what if and what if it doesn't work, and what if it works but it's not the way that I want it to, and what if it's not the right person, and what if it's not the right career, and what if it's not the right title, and whatever. Like, you're always going to be in this spiral because you don't have this clear and grounded vision about what it feels like. It's just a feeling. It's just, I feel like this is the right thing, I feel like it's not the right thing, and I don't want to go in this. And intuition actually exists, but intuition, real intuition, comes from experience and experimentation. And if you do not experiment life, this is when personal improvement feels like a project and not like something that you are actually living and understanding and believing in. And this is the same for whatever thing it is. It could be a career, or it could be who you are and you being a certain version of yourself or whatever. But it doesn't mean anything if, again, this vision that you've created for yourself wasn't created by you. And so as humans, we do search for guarantees. We do search for certainty and for safety first. This is how the brain works. And we feel like if we have those things, then it means that we are on the right path. But the truth is, there is no clear, defined path for every single thing in your life. This is what makes your life your life. No one starts something feeling and being 100% sure about it being the right thing, or in being the thing that, they are certain about. Uncertainty doesn't disappear with time. It fades with experience and experiment. Because we have this idea that life is supposed to be predictable, it's supposed to be stable, and that, everything we do needs to be about it being predictable and having a plan and knowing exactly where to go and how to do it and who to be and whatever, when life doesn't work that way. And since we were little, this is what we've been taught, and that we should always know where to go. And so we say that when it comes to stable jobs, but we also say that when it comes to entrepreneurship, because of course there's a side of entrepreneurship where you are like, things are not really stable and things are not very certain. But then you also have another side of the industry that is more based on, here are the shortcuts, here are the exact plan that you should follow to get to XYZ and whatever. When again, each business is different, each journey, an entrepreneurial journey is different. And so there's no plan that is required and that you're going to get, that you're going to be like, this is the exact same plan I followed and this is something that worked for me. Like, maybe a little percentage of people, like 0.5% of people who do follow this plan get the results, but it's because there's also other things that they may have done that they are not consciously aware of that also got them to where they are. And so we are always trying to seek for control and for safety. And so the trust that you have within yourself, within your career, within what you preach in life should never rely on circumstances and should never depend on circumstances. And I feel like there's a difference between having the certainty that things will work out, the way that we want it to work out, and the conviction that we're going to get this done, that we are convinced that we get to at least try, and that no matter what happens, we will be able to handle it. And so what matters today, in today's world, is not about knowing and having all the answers. My cat is playing, and so I'm letting it play, but it's about how to actually adapt and being able to adapt quickly. This is what we want to learn most, is how can we adapt when we are in a certain time. And so on one hand, we've been conditioned to seek for stability and certainty and like total control. And so we make clear plans, guarantees, we minimize the risk before taking actions, we wait before we are ready to actually start, and we want to make sure that we are making the right choice to avoid any kind of failure. And that's why we find ourselves paralyzed when uncertainty strikes. And so when we don't know what to do and how to do it exactly and how it will work and if it will work, people make us believe that things that are tied to uncertainty are not great. Like having doubt, fear, or not a 100% clarity means that there's something wrong with you and that you're missing something, when this is just a part of life. No plan survives exactly as it is supposed to be when you are actually taking action on it, because it's impossible to control everything, and the greatest successes actually comes from mistakes, adaptation, and unexpected opportunities. And so it's about finding the balance. It's about accepting uncertainty without letting it overwhelm you. It's about building a framework, having a plan that actually provides direction, but still being able to stay flexible in the execution of this plan. And it's not about perfection, it's just about going with the flow sometimes and figuring out as you go. And the path to growth, innovation, and progress is not found in waiting for certainty, but it is found in embracing the discomfort of not knowing and still choosing to move forward. And this means shifting your perspective from trying to always eliminate uncertainty to learning how to move with it, how to move through it. And it's about committing to your vision, to your mission, to who you are, to your values, and that each step is an important step. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I hope that you've learned something or that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in another one. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, like, send it to someone, send it to everyone, do what you please, and I will see you soon. Bye.